In this review, I will solely be discussing the film series, rather than comparing the movies to the books, of which I am also a huge fan. But, and I've stated this in the past, the motion picture medium is so vastly different from that of literature that I've always just inherently viewed the Harry Potter film and book series as two separate entities that share the same spirit and heart and central themes. With that disclaimer out of the way, let's talk film. Philosopher's Stone gives us an amazing introduction to this wonderful and realized magical world, created by J.K. Rowling, of course, as well as director Chris Columbus, producers David Heyman and David Barron, production designer Stuart Craig, as well as countless others. We are also introduced to a vast array of brilliant and distinct characters that are perfectly cast, namely Maggie Smith as the stern but caring McGonagall, David Bradley as the creepy and peculiar Filch, the late Richard Griffiths as the heinous and horrible Uncle Vernon, the late Alan Rickman as the mysterious and imposing Snape, as well as the late Robbie Coltrane as the sweet and impossibly lovable Hagrid, just to name a few. The sets and production design are impeccably imaginative. The various locations are top tier in terms of both quality and quantity. There's Diagon Alley, the Great Hall, the moving staircase, the Quidditch pitch. The musical score, composed by the legendary John Williams, is simply sensational and now iconic. This film is so sure of what it is in regards to the themes that are implemented into the storytelling. The primary themes being the power of love, as well as belonging to a home away from home. Film number 2 introduces some excellent new characters. Jason Isaacs portrays the deliciously evil Lucius Malfoy. Mark Williams plays the lovely and noble Arthur Weasley. I'm also a big fan of Kenneth Branagh's arrogant and slimy Gilderoy Lockhart, as well as his role/importance, or lack thereof, in the main plot. He's the complete antithesis to the first film's Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, Professor Quirrell. In Philosopher's Stone, Quirrell is so involved with the ultimate main plot that the evil Lord Voldemort is literally living on the back of his head, whilst Gilderoy Lockhart is a cocky fraud whom eventually accidentally erases his own memory. He is a hilarious coward. Chamber of Secrets features some of my favorite scenes in the series. I'm truly captivated the entire time the basilisk is on screen. The effect itself is one of my favorites in all of cinema, and so impressive for 2002. I also adore the sequence in which Harry and Ron visit Aragog in the Forbidden Forest, and then must escape Aragog's children with the help of the Weasley family car. Said flying car plays a really fun part in the film, as does the Whomping Willow. Chamber of Secrets really effectively deals with such themes as identity and choice, in that it is not who or what we are, but what we do that truly matters and defines us. One of my very few Harry Potter hot takes is that Prisoner of Azkaban is my least favorite picture in the series. I find that film number 3 isn't quite as smoothly paced as films 1 and 2, and that's primarily due to the general fact that the combination of the concepts of Harry Potter and time travel has never 100% worked for me. So I was quite happy with the fact that time travel is never mentioned again throughout the remainder of the series. If it was, it would just needlessly complicate things and overwhelm you with questions, and ultimately lessen the impact of the central story. Now mind you, I view ranking each of the 8 chapters in this film series in the same way that I view ranking my hypothetical non-existent children. I really do love them all. Alfonso Cuarón and cinematographer Michael Saracen provide unique, impressive, and at times utterly outstanding visuals and cinematography. The introduction of the visually stunning Dementors is incredibly eerie and ethereal. I adore the character additions of the calm and comforting, except when he's in the form of a werewolf, Remus Lupin, portrayed by David Thewlis, as well as the talented Timothy Spall's nasty and nefarious Wormtail. I certainly appreciate Prisoner of Azkaban's distinct score. It has less of a whimsical nature about it, and more of an eerie, creepy way about it, which is not only super effective and mysterious, it's also perfectly suitable for this ever-darkening magical world in which our tale takes place. One of my favorite moments in the film comes in the form of Harry astride Buckbeak the Hippogriff as the two soar in carefree fashion over the open water. Viewing Buckbeak dipping a talon or two into the water whilst Harry gazes with glee at his reflection, it is just such a subtly powerful scene representing pure freedom, and it's even more so effective given that film number 3 deals with the theme of confronting, embracing, and accepting your, in this case, sorrowful past, with the impactful secondary theme being deceit, which centers mostly around the Marauders, James Potter, Lupin, Sirius Black, and the previously mentioned Wormtail. I absolutely adore this epic picture with its darkened and ominous tone and its memorable, powerful, and at times sinister score. And when I say at times sinister, I'm referring to a musical piece such as the magnificent sort of foreboding rendition of Hedwig's theme, or what many consider to be the main theme of the series, as 7 times out of 8 it plays during a given film's title card. I love the expansion of the world and general increased scope as we visit the Quidditch World Cup, whilst the picture incorporates other magical schools besides Hogwarts. I adore everything about the depiction of the Triwizard Tournament. Each of the 3 thrilling and distinctive tasks are some of my favorite sequences in the series. Brendan Gleeson's on-screen presence is simply magnetic, and Ralph Fiennes' Voldemort plays a big part in making this picture's final act as utterly captivating as it is. Voldemort's return is brilliantly, practically perfectly displayed in terms of the visuals, performances, and score. This picture very effectively reinforces such themes as loss and the power of love. It also delves into themes of isolation and coming of age. Now, Daniel Radcliffe does a solid and admirable job in headlining this series' first trio of films, but Goblet of Fire is truly the picture that opened my eyes to Radcliffe's truly immense talent. Film number 4 represents a turning point in the series and an end of an era in terms of both single film encapsulation and solely or mostly school-bound mysteries. David Yates does a beautiful job filling the director's chair for not only this picture, but the entire remainder of this series. I adore the film's psychological component, its depiction of Harry's internal struggles following the traumatic events of Goblet of Fire. The phenomenal Daniel Radcliffe continues along this captivating performer's evolutionary pathway. Imelda Staunton is fucking spectacular in her portrayal of the devious and diabolical Dolores Umbridge, and the legendary Gary Oldman shines as Sirius Black, his really lovely relationship with godson Harry being the heart of the film. This film introduces and really intelligently delves into such themes as governmental control and oppression, as well as propaganda. The production design of the Grand Ministry of Magic is expectedly beautiful, and this great location is perfectly utilized for perhaps the best battle in the series between Dumbledore and Voldemort. Said battle features incredibly immersive cinematography and exceptional visuals. I also appreciate this scene's lack of score, which accentuates the realism. Film number 6 features my all-time favorite depiction of the great Albus Dumbledore. Michael Gambon brings to his performance here a genuine sense of kindness and levity, whilst also having this exceedingly powerful and badass presence. The dynamic between Harry and Dumbledore is really the heart, the core of this particular picture. Tom Felton really gets a chance to shine as Draco Malfoy. His performance is incredibly tortured and vulnerable. The pressure on this character's shoulders is beautifully conveyed by Felton. Jim Broadbent is expectedly excellent and quirky, simply endlessly entertaining. I adore this film's utilization of Tom Riddle in that we, in creative and intriguing fashion, learn of this soon-to-be supervillain's past through the jaded eyes and memories of Albus Dumbledore and Horace Slughorn. The third act of this flick in particular is really outstanding. Albus and Harry's dark and epic and visually spectacular adventure in the cave, as well as Dumbledore's very tragic and impactful death. This film is less so whimsical and more so somber but it needs to be this late in the series. The tone is effectively and unapologetically bleak, which forces the stakes of the story to feel higher than ever. The score is mature and emotionally impactful, and the animated sequence in which we're told the tale of the three brothers is so beautifully and creatively executed and wonderfully narrated by the great Emma Watson. Deathly Hallows Part 1 delves into such themes as mental and physical endurance, as well as survival and prejudice. And the third act is appropriately sorrowful, consisting of Dobby's noble and emotional death, as well as Voldemort stealing the powerful Elder Wand from Dumbledore's tomb. This excellent picture is thrillingly and briskly paced. It is simultaneously the most emotionally impactful chapter of the series, as well as the most action-packed. The score is fucking magnificent and memorable. Unquestionably my most listened to in the entire series, in terms of my free time and whilst I work. Aberforth, Dumbledore's brother, is a small but effective character addition, in large part due to the great Ciarán Hinds' performance. Matthew Lewis's Neville really gets a chance to shine as one of this finale's MVPs, which is of course more so effective given the years of Longbottom being shat on and picked on. Deathly Hallows Part 2 also features the most impressive acting performance from our collective trio, as well as the late great Alan Rickman. In fact, the scene in which Harry learns of Snape's past via the Pensieve is powerfully revelatory, phenomenally edited, and it dramatically deepens and essentially defines the now impeccably realized Severus Snape. The scene in which Harry speaks to his lost loved ones with the aid of the Resurrection Stone is very profound, and it truly embodies the spirit of the story and the series' prevalent theme of love conquers all. Harry and Voldemort's final showdown is fucking epic, it's badass, it's thrilling, and it is a visual spectacle.